All right. How's everybody doing? Jay Chant. I'm gonna check and see if everything is connected here, cause it's been a while. It's been a while. All right, everything is good. Welcome to the Ripple Effect of Healing. My name is Jay Chantalangsi. I'm a certified emotion code energy healer, practitioner, holistic wellness coach, and I took 2 weeks off of doing this weekly show, the Ripple Effect of Healing, because my family and I went on a road trip, and we went to a whole bunch of places. And I want to share with you some of the places that we went to, and it was an amazing, awesome, fantastic road trip. We were on the road. Actually, our trip was about 14, 15 days, and we went to a whole bunch of places. First, we stopped at Yosemite National Park, right, which is about 3.5 hours away from where we live in California. And then we stopped in at, from there, we went to Sequoia National Park. But in Yosemite, we actually got to hang out with some alpacas. Alpacas, right? Like if you want to go on a road trip, alpaca lunch. Anyway, sorry. We got to hang out on an alpaca farm because Angela, my wife, she scheduled an Airbnb at this alpaca farm right outside of Yosemite. It was fantastic. And then we went to Sequoia National Park, went to go hang out with some giant trees, some amazing giants. I mean, like prehistoric, massive behemoth trees. I got to hug some trees, talk with some trees. It was I got to meditate in this beautiful stone, like, it looked like a rock that was just put on the mountain just so that we can enjoy it and look over and see the forest. And then the sun was right there. It was beautiful. So we got to do that. Went to, Sequoia National Park. Broke up the trip in Vegas. So we hung out in Vegas for a couple of nights. Go hang out with some family. And then we made our way to Page, Arizona, where we were supposed to go see the Antelope Canyon, right? The Red Rock Canyons, where they take all those cool pictures and all that. I didn't know that that national park is actually on Navajo Nation land. It's on the Navajo Indian Reservation, and they have a huge territory in Arizona. And because of COVID, they were closed, so we couldn't go and see Antelope Canyon. But we got to see Horseshoe Bend, and that was beautiful, right? It's like a huge, like, massive canyon that looks like a horseshoe, and there's water that runs around it. It's was phenomenal. So we got to go see that, and then from there we went to go check out the Grand Canyon. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've never been to Horseshoe Bend. I've never been to Sequoia National Park. I've been to Yosemite when I was younger. I really don't quite remember it, but the rest of the way I never been to any of those. So the Grand Canyon was definitely, like it said it is, grand. I mean, it is humongous. I mean, you just feel so small there at the Grand Canyon. And it's something like 277 miles, long, big, 18 miles, across. So imagine this big canyon that's 18 miles across, and the average length of the width of the Grand Canyon is 10 miles. 10 miles. I mean, it's huge. I took a whole bunch of pictures, and it doesn't do it any justice. You know, you have to have gone to experience for yourself, like with your own eyes. That's how big, you know, the Grand Canyon is. Um, oh, what's going on, Healing Tribe? How y'all doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. How you guys doing, beloveds? I see you in the comments. Oh yes, thank you for joining, hopping on. Appreciate you. And just talking about the road trip. Um, and then after the Grand Canyon, we ended up in Sedona, and that was the reason why we went and had this road trip to begin with, right? Because we were called um, by higher powers to go there for the specific reason. Still trying to figure that out, but it was an amazing, magical place. Did a lot of hiking and meditation and connecting, you know, grounding, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, right? Today, in this episode. And yeah, Sedona is just a very beautiful place. You have to go there too. Like when you drive in there, it's just like this amazing valley with all of these red rock formations, and it's just beautiful. I mean, the energy there is just different. I don't know, it's something there. You know, people say there's vortexes there. I definitely felt the difference in my energy field. You know, visiting some of these places, and it was just amazing. And then after that, so we spent the longest time there in Sedona. And then after that, we went to Joshua Tree National Park, which is in Southern California, right next to, I think, the Mojave Desert. And that place is magical too. It was just, it's amazing. I mean, there's like no cell phone service in there. And you drive through that place, and it's like different landscapes. You know, one point you're in the desert, another point you're like among this like cactus uh, farm looking thing. You know, it's just cactuses everywhere, and then all the Joshua trees are there, and all of a sudden, all these crazy formation rocks are, you know, um, there right as you drive in through the park, and it's amazing. It's just the difference in landscapes that you experience there is just phenomenal. And I was talking to the ranger there, and they said that, you know, the best thing to do to go there at Joshua Tree National Park is to camp there overnight, because it is so dark at night that you can see the night sky. Like you can see the Milky Way galaxy like in HD. Like I saw the pictures in the pamphlet, and I was like, wow. And the ranger was like, yeah, there's no light pollution. There's nothing for miles, right? So it's just pitch dark, and you just look up, and you're just underneath, you know, the the painted sky full of stars and planets, and you know the galaxies and universe. I mean, I was like, wow, okay, I need to come back to this place. Um, so, and then after that, we ended up in San Diego, spent the Thanksgiving holiday there, and then made our way back to, you know, where we live, right? So, the whole time I was on this road trip, like I said, I got to meditate in all these different places. And, you know, connecting with the earth, I think, is very important. We don't do enough of it, right? We live in a concrete jungle, right? We work and live, and you know, most of us do. Like I said, most of us live in, you know, cities or suburbs and like that, and we never get the chance to get out in nature and connect with Mother Earth, with Gaia, with the dirt, with the water, with the sand, with the trees, right? There have been studies that are shown that, you know, 1 hour a day of getting out into nature can actually reduce a lot of these ailments that we experience, right? And some of them, let me just go through here. Some of these ailments can help with chronic fatigue, chronic pain, anxiety and depression, sleep disorders, and even cardiovascular disease, right? And this is just going out into nature, like walking barefoot on the grass, or like, hiking, or going to the ocean, putting your feet in the sand, taking a dip in the ocean, right? I mean, the negative ion charges that the earth gives off actually, helps us because we are a part of the earth, right? We're like this one huge living organism, you know? And I think grounding should be in everyone's practice, right? This trip has taught me that. This road trip has taught me that. I don't ground enough, right? And there's different types of grounding, right? There's grounding and earthing. Another term for it is earthing, where you go out in nature. There's also grounding yourself, right? Within yourself, trying to stay centered. You can do that through like breath work, through meditation, um, exercising, right? Yoga, also mindfulness practice, right? Just focusing on some of your senses. So these are different types and techniques to center yourself and grounding. But I think, right? I think, and I believe now because I can feel the difference when I actually do it outside, okay? And just connecting with, you know, the earth, man. Like we live in a beautiful world, a beautiful place. And to think that there's no type of connection to our planet, I don't know. That just doesn't feel right to me, right? Um, so I think that, everyone should do that. Everyone should start grounding. Everyone should get out there. I know, because of the COVID and the pandemic, it might be a little bit hard to do that. But let's say you have a nice backyard, like full of woods and trees or anything like that. Go outside, get some sun, hug a tree, right? Spend some time in nature, you know? There's just something about nature and being in nature that calms our body, calms our mind, helps us get connected with ourselves, right? Um, and I think it's very, very important. For example, I mean, I grew up in Hawaii, my adult life, and I actually regret that I didn't, you know, take advantage of living on an island and, going into the water because, back in the day, I was just lost, right? I was just partying too much, right? Never even saw the sun because I would just get so faded, and then have to go to work and go to sleep, don't wake up until the evening, right? Because I'm so hungover or whatever. So um, I never got a chance to really, really, take advantage of the water. And now that I go back, because my mother still lives there, I'm in the water as much as possible, right? Putting my toes in the sand, I want to tell you a experience that we had in Sedona, and it was the most craziest experience, right? So, and this all involves like the grounding, right? So, like I said, our whole trip was centered around going to Sedona. We heard that there are vortexes there in Sedona. This is where the energy is different, right? It's coming out of the earth, and people have had some crazy experiences uh, visiting these vortexes, right? People see things, they experience things, they get healed. Some people had seen God, angels that appear, in front of them or whatever. So it's definitely a magical place, right? So Angela and I and the family, we were trying to find these vortexes, and it's very easy. It's very, the one thing is that, when you go to Sedona, they really uh, advertise these places. I guess a psychic medium, went to Sedona long time ago, and she experienced all of these things, and that's how Sedona became what it is today, right? Because of her. And then the city and the county and everything, they try to capitalize, right? A lot of tourists go there to see these places. But despite all the tourists, if you go there, it's just beautiful. I mean, it is like picturesque, right? Every way you look in that town, it's like just amazing. Um, we were eating lunch at a Chipotle, and the window of the Chipotle was just like this beautiful, looked like a painting, right? Of like the mountains and the trees and the different colors of the leaves. It was just, I mean, I was like, man, I can get used to this, right? Um, so, like I said, we found some of these vortexes that we went to. Specifically, one we went to was called Boynton Canyon, and we did maybe like a 1 mile hike into this place, right? And it was like a vista that you hike to, and there was this huge rock that you can climb up on and meditate on there, which I did, right? But that wasn't even the cool part. I mean, that was cool in itself, but that wasn't even the cool part. The cool part was along the way, along the way, there was this portion of the hike, right? That had like this, I say it was the most finest, is that a word? Am I using it correctly? The finest sand or dirt or whatever it was. It was like dirt or sand, but it was red. It was red dirt, but it was so fine, it felt like you were on a beach, and it was incredible, right? And as we were walking on this sand, I couldn't help but stop myself because I was like, what? This feels so good, right? So what we did was I had to take off my shoes. I was like, I want to feel this on my feet. Like, I had to take off my shoes, take off my socks, and I was holding my son, or I had him on my carrying on the baby carrier, and I took off my shoes and I just put my feet into this fine sand or dirt patch on the trail of the hiking trail, and my goodness, I mean, and this I'm gonna just call it sand, right? This red sand that was on the hiking trail. When I put my feet into the red sand, it was cold, but like all of this, I don't know. It was all of these like things started shooting up my leg, and I just felt so grounded. Like I just felt like the earth was sucking me in, and I was just like absorbing all of its nutrients, and I could feel my legs just like, I mean, it just felt so. It's indescribable. I can't describe it because it felt so good. And then my mother-in-law took off her shoes, and she actually had knee pain and ankle pain earlier in the day because she had knee surgery a long time ago, and something happened with her right ankle that it was like bothering her during the trip. So then she took off her shoes and she put her feet in the sand, and then we all took off our shoes. I mean, even my kids. I took off my son. I took off the shoes of my daughter, and we all just stood there in the red sand on this hiking trail. And there were people like walking past and stuff, like looking at us, and I didn't even give a damn. I was like, y'all got to try this. It was amazing, right? And then 5-10 minutes go by, and then my mother-in-law is like, oh my gosh. We're like, what? She's like, my pain just went away. My knee pain and my ankle pain just went away. And we were like, what? For real? She's like, yeah, it just went away. I was like, wow, it is healing, right? And I stood there just in this one spot, and I just dug my feet into this red fine. It felt so fake because it was the how fine the dirt or the sand was just incredible, right? So I dug my feet in there, and I just sat there, and I was just like soaking it all in. I could just feel the energy just rushing up my body. Like I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it right now. It was incredible. I didn't want to leave. Like I did not want to leave. And you know, it was just something I've never experienced before, right? I mean, I've felt fine sand, right? I've been to the Philippines, and the white sand beaches there are like, it's like the Corona commercial. It's just like beautiful, and the sand is so fun. But this was in the wood. It was in the woods, right? I mean, I'm thinking to myself, man, how can I transport this sand out of here? Because I mean, this could be like a whole healing business thing that we can start, right? Just transport the sand and just put it in. I was thinking to myself, if this feels good on my feet, imagine my whole body submerged underneath this sand. Like, it was phenomenal. I'm telling you. So, like I said, I don't know how the sand got there. It was only on specific parts of the trail. Other hikes that we went on didn't have this type of like fine sand. I don't know if it was like, because of that part of Sedona, but it was just amazing, right? And some of the other parts that we went to and hiked, we went to this hike called the Cathedral Rock, and the hike was pretty, it was pretty tough because you had to climb up some rocks. It shoots up like a mile and 1.7 miles, but it's worth it because you're like standing in the middle of these two giant rocks. And I have a picture because you can actually walk out along the edge of this rock on the side, and if you look down, it's just like a 300-400 feet drop. There's no railing. You know what I mean? It's just, but the path is so big that you can actually walk out there. People were taking pictures and stuff, but I mean, one wrong move, that's it, right? So people were taking turns to go out there, but it was so beautiful. And I was talking to one of the locals, and that place, Cathedral Rock Hike, is actually one of the vortexes, right? And the local was telling me, he's been there since 2010. And he's telling me the reason why it's a vortex is because in the middle of these red rocks, there's a pile of like different colored rocks. It was like grayish rocks. While around it was like all of these huge like red rock canyon looking huge like monolith of stone, right? And then it looked like it was surrounding this pile of like grayish dark grayish rock. It looked very out of place, right? And I was wondering, like, why is this rock different from the surrounding rock? And the local that I was talking to, he's, like I say, he's been there since 2010, and he was saying, yeah, this used to be a millions of years ago, it used to be a lava tube that broke off, and it kind of broke from underneath the earth, and then it spewed over here. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. I mean, and that's why there's like all this grayish rock formation right in the middle. And he's like, and that is where the vortex is. And I was like, wow, that makes sense. Where the magma comes up. I mean, the magma is kind of like the blood of, the blood of the earth, right? I mean, that's what creates land, right? Is this magma that comes from the core of the earth. I mean, it's powerful, in Hawaiian language, we call that the mana, right? The mana is like also power, right? I mean, we have a deep respect for Mother Earth, right? Pele, the volcanoes, there's even a volcano in the Philippines that we visited. It's like the most perfect volcano, but that's the bloodline of Mother Earth, and it would make sense because this is where it spewed out, and created this canyon-looking thing, right? Where now people, hundreds and thousands of people, millions of people go there just to hike this thing, and it was just incredible. Incredible. So, the point of the story, the point of all this, and this is why I wanted to share with you, is everyone should have a grounding practice. All right. If you already meditate, if you already, love to hike, continue to do that, right? Get at least 20 to 30 minutes outside, right? And if you can go barefoot and just, put your feet in the dirt or the grass or whatever, the earth, and connect with it, it's amazing, right? There's, these ions that get released from the earth that helps us, right, stay grounded, stay centered, and help with our, overall health and well-being. I mean, why, according to healthline.com, it helps with all these different ailments, right? Chronic fatigue, chronic pain, anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, cardiovascular disease, right? I mean, it's there. The science is proving it right now. And I'm gonna just name some of the different things that these studies are saying, about grounding, right? The central theory from one review study is that grounding affects the living matrix, which is the central connector between living cells, right? Like I said, we're all one big organism, and we get to live and, coexist with our planet, right? There has to be some type of connection there. If we're all connected collectively, then we're also all connected collectively to our own planet, right? I would think so. Electrical conductivity exists within the matrix that functions as an immune system defense similar to antioxidants. They believe that through grounding, the natural defenses of the body can be restored. Wow. The natural defenses of the body can be restored, right? We get everything from nature, right? We get everything from nature. And nature can teach us how to protect ourselves, right? And nature can give us all the tools we need to also heal, but we have to connect with it. Like I said, most of us, we don't take the time to do that because we're so busy. We're so, doing our own things, like working, right? And that's why some of us, when we finally do get to connect, right? We finally do get to go on vacation or, do these road trips or whatever. That's when we feel good. Why do you think we have withdrawals when we come back from vacation, right? Because our body wants it. Our body really needs it, right? And every time we go and, experience the ocean or the beach or, nature, it just feels amazing, right? We feel complete. So I want to urge and inspire and motivate you guys to get out there and do some grounding, right? It's good for your health, for sure. All right. I'm going to go in the comments here to see what people are saying. Once again, thank you so much, Healing Tribe, for showing up. And those of you that are in the Healing Tribe or want to join the Healing Tribe, please come and join us. Follow me on TikTok. We have an amazing community there. Amazing people, talented, very beautiful, very inspiring stories of amazing individuals there. And we just support each other. And it's all about healing. It's all about love. So come and join us there. Just follow me on TikTok. You can just look up at Jay Chantalanxi. We're there as well. Let's see. Can't wait to go one day. Yes, you have to go to Sedona. Connecting with Mother Earth is definitely important. You have to do that. Did I see twisted trees? Yes, that was another thing. So on the hike to Cathedral Rock, there were these trees that were just, we actually took pictures of it too. We're like, how did that tree get so warped, And it's just like sticking out of the side of on the trail, right? There was no other shrubbery or trees around. It was just there. And when it grew, and we looked at the trees around it, that were like maybe, 5 6 feet away, and they were all straight. But there's other trees that were just like twisted, like someone just like twisted the trunk. It was crazy. It was so crazy, right? And people say it's because of the vortex. It's because of the energy that's being radiating out of the earth that's causing, even nature in these trees to like twist like that. It was amazing. Um, what else? My soul yearns for the beach every day. Yes, negative ions, right? When you go to the beach, when you jump into the ocean, you automatically feel good, right? When you come out, you just salt water, right? Magnesium. I mean, most of us are deficient in magnesium, right? Um, and that's what helps with sleeping. If you go to the beach, and if you swim, you're gonna have a good night's rest. I promise you that, right? And that's because you're soaking up all of that magnesium, right? All that salt. Like I said, most of us are deficient and we don't even know. That's why it's good to get out there. It's good to experience that, right? Uh, what else here? I'm a couple hours away. We can meet there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're in Mesa, Arizona, right? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sounds like an amazing connection. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Clay? You know what? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not. The sand was so fine. I'm just gonna call it sand. But it was crazy because like if you walk out of that patch, it's just dirt. It's just red dirt, like crumbling like dirt. But then there's one part. It was just all this type of sand. I was like, where did this come from, right? And like I said, other hikers were just like looking at us, watching us, as we were just like frolicking in the sand, right? Just absorbing all of the energy. It was fantastic. I think we asked to take some home too. We asked the forest spirits, just just to see just so that we can take a little bit, as a memento, right? Um, and we actually left some things there too, right? Because when you go on these hikes and when you go to these places, you have to respect Mother Earth. We have to respect nature. I left one of my malas, in the in the forest, so I can take some of this sand with me, right? So I can remember it. It was unforgettable. Uh, and I'm definitely gonna go back. We're definitely gonna go back because we only hiked a little bit of, Sedona, and there are hundreds of different hikes there. So if you like to hike and get out in nature, Sedona is the place to be. And the person that I was talking to, the local there, his name was Mike, and he's actually from Illinois, Chicago area, and he lives in Sedona 6 months out of the year when it's cold. So he's been there since 2010. And I'll tell you one that he said to me, right? Which I'll never forget. I thought it was the most perfect answer. And I said, wow, Mike, you're so lucky you get to live here. You get to experience this beauty every day. He's like, yeah, I feel pretty lucky. And I said, there's so many hikes. I was like, you must hike, what, every day? He's like, yeah, pretty much. When I'm here, I try to hike, 3 or 4 times a week. I was like, wow. He's an older gentleman, retired already. So I said, what's your favorite hike, Mike? Which one do you like the most? You know what he said? He said, whichever hike that I'm on. It's like, you can't go wrong in Sedona. Every hike is beautiful. I said, wow. Damn. I said, okay. And you know what? I believe him. Because even the ones that we went on that were like, a loop hike that we can actually take the stroller on and stuff, and it was even paved. Even that hike was just breathtaking because of all the views that we saw along the hike. And it was short. It was less than a mile long. It was like 0.6 mile loop or whatever. Um, and even going on that hike was just, it was incredible to see the surrounding, right? I mean, it was amazing. So, like I said, I'll never forget that. I said, what's the best hike? He said, whatever hike I'm on. Every hike is amazing in Sedona. I was like, wow, right? Wow. So, um, so, uh, shit off from Joliet, Illinois. Yeah, he said he was from Chicago area, Illinois. He has kids out there, so he lives out there 6 months out of the year, and then he lives in Sedona 6 months out of the year, like in Sedona, right? And Angela and I, we loved it there. We loved it so much that we're even thinking about moving out there, cause, like I said, something magical about that place, something magical. So, with that said, beloveds, I hope this was valuable for you. I hope it inspired you to get out there and connect with nature and ground yourself, right? Um, the best thing is, if you have a meditation practice, I would recommend meditating in nature, right? It's just different. When I was meditating in Sequoia National Park on top of that rock, and then the sun was coming down, it was like it was like around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, but it was like hazy and it was cold, and it was just silent. I mean, just deafening silence, right? And you can feel the gentle wind, like it was. I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. I mean, I was hearing things, I was feeling things. I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible. So I encourage you to do that. Make it a part of your practice. Make it a part of your self-care routine. Make it a part of your daily practice to get out in nature. Okay? Even if it's to go for a walk, get some sun, touch a tree, right? Walk barefoot, on your lawn or whatever that's connected to the earth, whatever it is. Just do it. Okay? So, that's it for this episode of The Ripple Effect of Healing. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, you can follow me on any other social media channels. Join the Healing Tribe. We'd be happy to have you there, right? And shout out to all the Healing Tribe members here online right now. Thank you so much for showing up. Okay, I got so many things in store for the next coming episodes. I'm gonna try to ramp up, a little bit more on my YouTube channel here. And talk a little bit more stuff, like have some interviews coming up. I have a lot of things planned for 2021. I cannot believe that it's around the corner. Okay, 1 more month and we are out of 2020, right? 2020 will be in the past, so we can look forward to 2021. And I have, like I said, so many things planned for this channel, for you guys, and I'm just super excited about that. So December is going to be a huge month for planning and creating and documenting a lot of things on my behalf, because I want to share with you all of the experiences, all of the healing, all the things that I've learned, right? Hopefully it's going to help you in your healing and self-development journey, because that's what it's all about, right? We can always use that to better ourselves, to live a happy, abundant, joyful life, right? So, all right. So, like I said, thank you so much for joining, everybody. I love your faces. Stay blessed, and always remember to protect your energy at all costs. We'll see each other on the next episode.